There are moments in life when everything feels unfair. Not just difficult, not just stressful, but deeply, painfully unfair. You look around and see people moving ahead while you feel stuck. You watch others succeed with half your effort, while you give everything you have and still fall behind. You try, and try, and try again, but life keeps pushing you back. And in those moments, a question quietly forms in your mind. Why me? Why is it so hard for me? Why do I have to struggle this much? Why does it feel like life is against me? If you've ever felt this way, this message is for you. Because what you're feeling is real. But what you're believing about it might not be. Let's be honest for a second. Life is not fair. It never has been, and it never will be. Some people are born into comfort. Some are born into chaos. Some get opportunities handed to them. Others have to fight for every inch. And that truth can either break you, or build you. Because here's the shift most people never make. Fairness is not the goal. Growth is. You see, the moment you start expecting life to be fair, you give away your power. Because now your happiness depends on something you cannot control. But the moment you accept that life is unfair, you take your power back. Now the question is no longer, why is this happening to me? Now the question becomes, what can I do with this? Think about it. Every strong person you admire, every successful individual you look up to, every story that inspires you, none of them had an easy path. They had setbacks. They had failures. They had moments where everything fell apart. But what made them different wasn't luck. It was perspective. When life knocked them down, they didn't say, "This is unfair, I quit." They said, "This is hard, but I'm not done." And that's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise. Right now, you might feel like life is testing you beyond your limits. Maybe you're dealing with failure. Maybe you're facing rejection. Maybe you're fighting battles that no one else can see. And it feels heavy. It feels exhausting. It feels like no matter what you do, it's never enough. But listen carefully. This phase is not here to destroy you. It's here to shape you. Pain has a purpose. Struggle has a reason. And unfair situations often carry the greatest lessons. Because when everything is easy, you don't grow. You don't learn resilience. You don't build discipline. You don't discover your true strength. But when life gets hard, really hard, that's when something inside you starts to change. You become tougher. You become sharper. You become someone who can handle more than you ever thought possible. And here's something most people don't realize. The same situation that breaks one person builds another. So what's the difference? Mindset. Two people can go through the same pain. One says, "This is the end of me." The other says, "This is the beginning of a stronger me." And life responds differently to both. Right now, you have a choice. You can look at your struggles and say, "This is unfair. I give up." Or you can look at them and say, "This is unfair, but I will rise anyway." Because the truth is, life doesn't reward fairness. It rewards persistence. You don't win because things were easy. You win because you refused to quit when things were hard. And yes, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to work hard and not see results. It's frustrating to give your best and still feel behind. It's frustrating to feel like no one understands what you're going through. But frustration can be fuel. If you use it right. Instead of letting it break you, let it drive you. Instead of asking, "Why me?" start asking, "What now? What can I learn from this? What can I improve? What can I do differently?" Because every setback carries information. Every failure carries feedback. Every unfair moment carries an opportunity, if you're willing to see it. And I know, it's not easy. No one wakes up and says, "I hope life is unfair today." But sometimes, the hardest roads lead to the strongest versions of ourselves. Think about your life so far. The moments that changed you the most. Were they the easy ones? Or were they the painful ones? It's always the hard moments. The moments that forced you to grow. The moments that made you question everything. The moments that pushed you to your limits. Those are the moments that shape you. So maybe, just maybe, this phase you're going through right now is not here to stop you. It's here to prepare you. Prepare you for something bigger. Prepare you for something greater. Prepare you for a version of yourself you haven't met yet. Because the person you're becoming is stronger than the person you used to be. Even if you don't see it yet. Even if you don't feel it yet. Growth is happening. Silently. Slowly. Powerfully. Every time you keep going when you feel like quitting. You're building strength. Every time you push forward despite the pain. You're building resilience. Every time you refuse to give up. You're becoming unstoppable. And one day, all of this will make sense. The struggles. The delays. The unfair moments. You'll look back and realize they weren't holding you back. They were building you up. But for now, you just have to keep going. Not because it's easy. Not because it's fair. But because you're capable of more than you think. You didn't come this far just to stop here. You didn't go through all that pain just to quit now. There's something inside you. Something stronger than your doubts. Something more powerful than your fears. And it's waiting for you to step up. So when life feels unfair, don't break. Don't quit. Don't lose hope. Stand up. Push forward. And remind yourself, this is not the end of my story. Because it's not. Not even close. Because understanding that life is unfair is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you decide, I refuse to stay a victim of my circumstances. There's a dangerous mindset that keeps people stuck for years. It sounds like this. I can't succeed because life is unfair. I can't move forward because I didn't get the same chances. I can't win because everything is against me. And listen, those feelings are valid. But if you stay there, they will slowly destroy your future. Because the moment you accept a victim mindset, you give up control. You stop trying. You stop believing. And without even realizing it, you start building a life you never wanted. But the strongest people, the ones who rise from nothing, they make a different decision. They say, yes, life is unfair, but I will not let that define me. That's where your power begins. Because here's the truth no one tells you. You don't control what happens to you. But you control what you become because of it. Read that again. Because that one idea can change everything. Maybe you didn't choose your situation. Maybe you didn't choose your struggles. Maybe you didn't choose the pain you've gone through. But you can choose your response. And your response is where your future is built. Some people use pain as an excuse. Others use pain as fuel. The same fire that burns one person can forge another into steel. So the question is, what will your pain do to you? Will it break you? Or will it build you? Because right now, you're standing at a turning point. You can either let your struggles define your limits, or you can let them define your strength. And yes, choosing strength is harder. It means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means working when you're tired. It means believing when you see no results. But that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because discipline is built in those moments. Not when you feel motivated. Not when things are going well. But when everything inside you says, stop. And you say, no. I'm going one more step. That's where transformation happens. Let's talk about discipline for a moment. Because this is where most people fail. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the perfect time. But that time never comes. Winners don't wait for motivation. They create momentum through action. Even when it's hard. Even when it's boring. Even when it feels pointless. They show up. Again and again and again. And over time, that consistency becomes power. Because success is not one big moment. It's thousands of small decisions. Decisions like, should I quit or keep going? Should I complain or improve? Should I stay comfortable or grow? And every time you choose growth, you're changing your life. Even if you don't see it immediately. Because progress is invisible at first. It's like planting a seed. You don't see anything for days, maybe weeks. But under the surface, something is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is building. Foundations are forming. And then one day, it breaks through. That's how your life works too. Right now, you might feel like nothing is changing. Like all your effort is going nowhere. But that doesn't mean it's not working. It means you're in the invisible phase. And most people quit there. They quit because they don't see results. They quit because they feel behind. They quit because it's taking too long. But the people who succeed, they stay. They keep going. Even when it's slow. Even when it's hard. Even when it feels unfair. Because they understand something powerful. The process is working, even when I can't see it. And that belief keeps them moving forward. Let me ask you something. What if this phase of your life is not a punishment, but a preparation? What if the delays are not denial, but direction? What if everything that feels unfair right now is actually shaping you for something greater? Because sometimes, life doesn't give you what you want. Because you're not ready for it yet. Not because you're not good enough. But because you're still becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes failure. It takes struggle. It takes moments where you feel like giving up. But those moments are not there to stop you. They're there to strengthen you. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, who is this helping me become? Because that question changes everything. Now you're not stuck. Now you're evolving. Now every challenge becomes a tool. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every unfair moment becomes a stepping stone. And slowly, you stop seeing yourself as a victim. You start seeing yourself as a fighter. A builder. A person in progress. And that identity shift is what changes your life. Because once you believe, I am someone who keeps going no matter what, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. And strength is built in the hardest moments. So if life feels unfair right now, good. Not because pain is good, but because this is your chance. Your chance to grow. Your chance to rise. Your chance to prove to yourself that you are more than your circumstances. You are more than your struggles. You are more than your setbacks. And the story of your life is not written by what happens to you. It's written by what you do next. So don't wait for fairness. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for everything to make sense. Start where you are. Use what you have. And take the next step. Because one step leads to another. And another. And before you know it, you're no longer the person who felt stuck. You're the person who kept going. And that changes everything. Now let's talk about something that silently destroys more dreams than failure ever could. Self-doubt. Because when life feels unfair, it doesn't just test your strength. It attacks your belief in yourself. It whispers things like, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it. Other people are better than you. Why even try?" And if you're not careful, those whispers become your truth. You start hesitating. You start overthinking. You start holding back. Not because you can't succeed, but because you've convinced yourself that you can't. And that's the real danger. Because once you lose belief in yourself, even the best opportunities won't matter. So let's make something clear right now. Self-doubt is a liar. It feels real. It sounds convincing. But it is not the truth. It's just fear, trying to keep you in your comfort zone. Because growth is uncomfortable. Trying is uncomfortable. Failing is uncomfortable. But staying stuck, that becomes even more painful over time. So you have a choice. Stay comfortable and regret it later. Or face discomfort and grow into something greater. And here's what you need to understand. Confidence doesn't come before action. Confidence comes because of action. Most people think, "I'll start when I feel ready." But that's backwards. You start first. You take the step. You try, even if you're unsure. And through that process, confidence is built. Every time you do something difficult, you prove to yourself, "I can handle this." And that proof becomes belief. Let's break it down. The first time you try something new, you feel nervous, uncertain, maybe even scared. But you do it anyway. The second time, still uncomfortable, but slightly easier. The third time, you start to feel a little more in control. And eventually, what once felt impossible becomes normal. That's how confidence works. Not by thinking. Not by waiting. But by doing. So if you're waiting to feel confident, you'll be waiting forever. Start now. Start scared. Start unsure. But start. Because action is the only cure for self-doubt. Now let's talk about rejection. Because if life feels unfair, chances are you've faced rejection. Maybe people didn't believe in you. Maybe someone said you weren't good enough. Maybe you were overlooked, ignored, or underestimated. And that hurts. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder if they're right. But listen carefully. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a redirection of your path. Not everyone will see your value. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will support your journey. And that's okay. Because you don't need everyone. You just need the right opportunities. And the strength to keep going until you find them. Think about it. Every successful person you admire was rejected at some point. They were told no. They were doubted. They were underestimated. But they didn't stop. They kept going. They kept improving. They kept believing. And eventually, the same people who doubted them started to believe in them. But by then, it didn't matter anymore. Because they had already built belief in themselves. And that's what you need to do. Stop waiting for validation from others. Stop waiting for people to approve your dreams. Stop waiting for someone to tell you. You can do it. Tell yourself. Every single day. I can do this. I will improve. I will not give up. Because your voice is the one that matters most. And the more you repeat it, the stronger it becomes. Now here's something powerful. Your mind believes what you tell it repeatedly. If you keep saying, "I'm not good enough," your mind will accept it. If you keep saying, "I always fail," your mind will look for proof of that. But if you start saying, "I'm getting better every day. I can figure this out. I will succeed if I keep going," your mind starts to shift. It starts to support you, instead of working against you. That's how you reprogram your thinking. Not overnight, but through consistency, through repetition, through awareness. Because you can't control every thought that comes into your mind, but you can control which ones you choose to believe. And that choice changes your life. Now let's go even deeper. There will be moments when you feel like quitting. Not just a little tired, but completely drained. Moments where you think, "What's the point? Why am I even trying? Maybe this just isn't for me." And in those moments, you're standing at a critical point. Because what you do next will define your future. Most people quit there. They walk away. They settle. They convince themselves to play small. But a few people make a different decision. They take a breath. They gather themselves. And they say, "Not today. Not today will I quit. Not today will I give up on myself. Not today will I let my doubts win." And that one decision, to keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's unfair, that decision builds something inside you that nothing can break. That's how resilience is built. Not in easy moments, but in the moments where quitting feels like the easiest option. And every time you choose to continue, you become stronger. Stronger mentally. Stronger emotionally. Stronger as a person. Until one day, you realize something incredible. The things that used to break you don't even shake you anymore. The struggles that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. And the person who once doubted everything has become someone who believes in themselves. That's the transformation. That's what this journey is about. Not just success, but becoming someone who can handle success. Because success without strength doesn't last. But strength? That stays with you forever. So if life feels unfair right now, and self-doubt is creeping in, and rejection has shaken your confidence, remember this. You are not finished. You are not behind. You are not incapable. You are in the process. And the process is where greatness is built. So don't stop. Don't shrink. Don't give in to doubt. Stand up again. Try again. Move forward again. Because every step you take, no matter how small, is taking you closer to the person you're meant to become. That's rare. And rare people create extraordinary lives. Now let's talk about something deeper. Your story. Right now, you might see your story as painful, unfair, difficult. But one day, that same story will inspire someone else. One day, someone will hear what you went through, and it will give them strength. But that only happens if you don't quit. Because unfinished stories don't inspire anyone. But stories of perseverance, of resilience, of rising after falling, those stories change lives. So don't be ashamed of your struggle. Don't hide your pain. Use it. Let it shape you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone unbreakable. Because one day, you won't just be proud of your success. You'll be proud of who you became to achieve it. And that's the real victory. Now let's build to something powerful. There will come a day when everything starts to make sense. The struggle, the delays, the unfair moments. You'll look back and realize those were the moments that built you. Not the easy days, not the comfortable times, but the hard ones, the painful ones, the moments you wanted to quit, but didn't. And in that moment, you'll feel something powerful. Gratitude. Not for the pain itself, but for the strength it gave you. And that's when you truly win. Because now, nothing can break you. Not failure. Not rejection. Not unfairness. Because you've already faced it. And survived it. And once you realize that, fear loses its power over you. Now you're free. Free to try. Free to fail. Free to grow. And most importantly, free to become the person you were always meant to be. So if life feels unfair right now, good. Because this is your moment. Your moment to rise. Your moment to grow. Your moment to prove that no matter what happens, you will not stay down. You will not give up. You will become stronger. No matter how long it takes. No matter how hard it gets. Because you've made a decision. A decision to keep going. A decision to believe. A decision to rise. Now this is where everything changes. Because up until this point, you've been learning how to survive the struggle. But now, it's time to transform because of it. There's a moment in every person's life. A moment that doesn't look special from the outside. But inside, everything shifts. It's the moment you stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start saying, "This is happening for me." That shift is where ordinary people become unstoppable. Because now, you're not just going through pain. You're using it. You're not just facing struggle. You're growing from it. And most importantly, you're no longer running from your story. You're owning it. Let me tell you something powerful. Your struggle is your advantage, if you choose to see it that way. The nights you cried. The days you felt lost. The moments you thought you wouldn't make it. Those moments built something inside you that comfortable people will never understand. Hunger. Drive. Resilience. Because when you've seen what it feels like to be at your lowest, you develop a fire that refuses to go back there. And that fire? That's your power. But only if you use it. Because pain can do two things. It can make you bitter. Or it can make you better. It can make you angry at the world. Or it can make you determined to rise above it. And that choice is yours. Now I want you to imagine something. Imagine a version of you who didn't quit, who didn't give up, who didn't let unfair moments define them. A version of you who kept going, even when it was hard, even when it felt pointless, even when no one was watching. What would that person look like? Stronger? More confident? More focused? That version of you is not a dream. It's a direction. And every decision you make either moves you closer to that person, or further away. So the real question is, who are you becoming right now? Because your identity is not built in one big moment. It's built in the small choices you make every day. Do you show up? Or do you make excuses? Do you push forward? Or do you stay comfortable? Do you believe in yourself? Or do you listen to doubt? Those choices shape your future. And over time, they create a version of you that is either strong or stuck. Now here's where it gets real. If you want to become unstoppable, you have to stop negotiating with your comfort zone. Because comfort is the enemy of growth. It tells you, take it easy today. You can start tomorrow. You've done enough. But deep down, you know the truth. You know when you're holding back. You know when you're capable of more. And every time you ignore that voice, you weaken your potential. But every time you listen to it and act on it, you grow. That's how discipline is built. Not through motivation, but through decision. A decision that says, I will do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like it. That's what separates average from exceptional. Because anyone can work when they feel good. Anyone can try when it's easy. But not everyone can keep going. When it's hard. When it's boring. When it's unfair. Now this is where it all comes together. You've felt the pain. You've faced the struggle. You've questioned everything. And yet, you're still here. Think about that for a second. After everything you've been through, every setback, every disappointment, every unfair moment, you're still standing. That alone means something. Because a lot of people would have quit by now. A lot of people would have given up. A lot of people would have settled for less. But not you. You kept going. Even if it was slow. Even if it wasn't perfect. Even if no one noticed. You didn't stop. And that tells me something important about you. You're stronger than you think. Not because life has been easy, but because you didn't break when it wasn't. Now listen carefully. Because this might be the most important part of this entire message. One day, there will be a moment. A moment where everything starts to change. Not overnight. Not like magic. But slowly. Powerfully. Unstoppably. The effort you put in. The discipline you built. The strength you developed. It will start to show. Opportunities will appear. Doors will open. Things will begin to move in your favor. And in that moment, you'll realize something incredible. It was all worth it. Every late night. Every tear. Every time you wanted to quit. But didn't. It led you here. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. That moment? It only comes to those who keep going. Not the smartest. Not the luckiest. But the most persistent. The ones who refuse to quit. Even when life feels unfair. So if you're still in the struggle right now, if you're still in the phase where nothing makes sense, this is your reminder. Don't stop. You are closer than you think. Even if you can't see it. Even if you don't feel it. Progress is happening. Every day you show up. Every day you try. Every day you refuse to give up. You're building something. Something strong. Something powerful. Something unbreakable. And one day, that version of you will look back at this moment and smile. Not because it was easy, but because you made it through. Now I want you to do something. Right here. Right now. Make a decision. Not a weak decision. Not a temporary one. A real decision. A decision that says, no matter how hard it gets, I will not quit. Say it to yourself. Mean it. Because that decision will carry you through the hardest days. It will push you when you feel tired. It will guide you when you feel lost. And it will remind you why you started. Because you didn't start this journey just to give up halfway. You didn't come this far just to go back. You didn't fight this hard just to settle for less. There is more for you. More growth. More success. More strength. But you have to keep going to reach it. No shortcuts. No excuses. Just consistency. Just belief. Just action. And yes, there will still be hard days. Days where you feel tired. Days where you feel discouraged. Days where life still feels unfair. But now, you're different. Now you understand that those days do not define you. They refine you. They shape you into someone stronger. Someone wiser. Someone unstoppable. So when those days come, and they will, don't fall back. Don't give up. Stand firm. And remind yourself, I've come too far to quit now. Because you have. And the best part? This is not the end of your story. This is just the beginning. The beginning of a stronger you. The beginning of a fearless you. The beginning of a version of you that no longer fears struggle, but uses it. So walk forward with confidence. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are prepared. Prepared to fight. Prepared to grow. Prepared to rise. No matter what life throws at you. And when the world tests you again, as it always does, look it in the eye and say, I am not done. Because you're not. Not even close. Fire now, go out there and prove to yourself what you're capable of.